who are the actors in the coup d'etat. You have General Abdurrahman Chiani, the chairman and of the National Council for Safeguard of the Homeland. You have his deputy, General Salifu Modi. You have General Abudu Sidiku Isa, who's the chief of army staff. And then you have the main brain behind galvanizing the people, Abdullahi Seidu. He leads the movement, M62, Sacred Union for. But then, the problem now is that, what is the level of command Abdurrahmani enjoys within the military? If you quite remember Burkina Faso, Dumbuya led them, Damiba led the coup. But because he lacked firm grip of the junta, within few months, he was ousted. And that created another very, dangerous situation that could have led to civil war. So, but if you look at, Tiani only commands the presidential guard, not the larger army. He took the involvement of Salifu Modi. But then, Salifu Modi was being eased out of power and influenced by Bazoum, because he was the chief of army staff, but was posted to UAE as an ambassador. And his replacement was General, Sidiku. So you could see that perhaps there is no that gel. There's no unity within the junta. So if he doesn't have firm command, would we see another coup, just like we had in Burkina Faso?
Is that what you are predicting?
I'm only looking at what another instability that could pose, because if it happens that way and it leads to civil war like we have in Sudan today, whereby Hemeti and the other guy collaborated to oust the elected government, and now they've turned their guns against each other, and Sudan is burning. So do we have the same situation due to his lack of influence within, which will be very dangerous for ECOWAS? And then they also appointed a civilian prime minister.
Oh, they have appointed?
They have appointed a civilian prime minister.
And they call him prime minister?
Sure. No, just like
that's a French.
Yeah, the French system, the semi-presidential system. But then, does that make the regime acceptable to ECOWAS or not? We can't tell.
But it means the regime is doing some things.
This is more like
ECOWAS halfway.
This is more like a facade of.
So they are presenting you a civilian head.
Sure. But then, this is another important actor. So, what is the relationship between here and the military actors? Is it that of convenience or not? And then, another problem is now we need to look at what might have led to the coup. There are those who said it was internal, because there was this attempt by the ex-president, Mohamed Issoufou, to limit the level of the influence of Bazoum. And if you realize Bazoum was trying to ease Salifu Modi out of power. So perhaps he felt that Bazoum was trying to gain independence and trying to oust his proteges within the security architecture. That might have triggered the coup. But the coup went beyond what he had anticipated. He had wanted to use Tiani just to be a check on Bazoum. But then Tiani also saw an opportunity to capture power, and he also orchestrated the coup.
No, so the godfather who wanted the coup to be a check.
Yeah, some analysts
wanted an action that is a check, or he wanted a coup.
Some people felt that, the military was made up of Issoufou's loyalists. But if you look at Bazoum's trajectory, he was gradually trying to also build his own power base, gain influence. So there was this belief that he felt threatened because his key man in the military was chief of army staff, but was sent to UAE as an ambassador and replaced by Abudu Isaka. So that was Bazoum trying to rearrange the power structure internally. But then, so they felt that he was using General Tiani as a check on Bazoum. But then Tiani also saw an opportunity to capture power, so he defied his ex-boss and initiated a coup d'etat. But then, he was also caught between the tug of war between his former boss and the French interests. The French have maintained a very, robust economic domination of these countries in terms of their currency, how they save their money. I mean, practically speaking, this is neocolonialism and slavery.
Well, yes.
But then, what do we say? They said it is Franc-Afrique or whatever.
France-Afrique, yeah.
And then you pay some benefit of colonialism to who? Somebody who has come to...
Okay, so make your point.
So it was like...
The interest, you're talking about the interest balance.
It's more like an internal party issue that, he's from the minority ethnic group.
Yeah, okay.
We'll come to that. So they felt that he felt bringing a minority person as a person from minority without strong political base, he would remain loyal to him to maneuver behind the scene. And then when he was in power, he didn't really, challenge or pose any threat to French interests. But Bazoum in his rhetoric was gradually trying to move away from that orbit. So there was this two allies, the usual godfather in Europe and the clients domestically. Now the junior partner is trying to break away, make a maneuver, then was like...
That means the French should be happy with the coup?
So the French would have preferred the arrangement whereby this guy, the Yusufu remains dominant, so their interest is not threatened, and Bazoum remained the president. That would have given them that facade of legitimacy. Now whatever they do, regardless of how exploitative it is still done within the context of the law. It have all the charade of legality. But in reality, the people continue to suffer. But then the coup undermines that. But then my question is, if those coup plotters are now chasing the French away and bringing the Russians in, are you not just replacing your slave master? Or are you fighting for it through independence? That's a bigger question we need to ask.
It is a good question.
But then this is the ethnic makeup of the groups in Niger. Because the Hausa is about 53.1%. That is a very strong majority.
Very, very strong.
Followed by the Zabarma Sangwai, who are about 21.2. And then the Fulanis, 6.5. The Kanuris, 5.9. Then others. But then, being from an Arab population, it kind of makes him very vulnerable. But then, there's a statement that Ibrahim Traore made purportedly during the Russian-African summit. It's a very profound one that really gives an indication of the reality on the ground, not just in these Sahelian countries, but the larger West Africa and the African continent at large. And it is very simple.
Sure.
My generation does not understand this. How can Africa, which has so much wealth, become the most poorest continent in the world today? And why do African leaders travel to the world to beg? So until we address the socio-economic challenges within the African continent, we make democracy less palatable. And as democracy becomes less palatable, they say a hungry man is a hungry man. Whatever comes, we go for it. But then, for the French also, finally, indeed, if you look at the fact that it is all military men plotting the coup d'etat, overthrowing the status quo, then it is the ghost of one man who they killed but refused to die in silence. That is the ghost of Thomas Sankara coming to hunt them.
Hunt who?
The French.
Why?
At the height of his reign, in his coup d'etat, he was said to be anti-French.
Yeah.
But he was not anti-French. It was anti-French domination that keeps him in poverty. He was trying to rearrange the balance of power. But then he was obviously killed with French involvement that has now been made clear, and there's evidence to corroborate that. So now the fact that he's serving as inspiration for all the military guys, then that is Thomas Sankara refusing to die silent.
Okay, excellent presentation by Bello. That's really beautiful. Okay.